Now it's time to welcome our next guest, Alex Ayers from the Association of Mature American Citizens, known as the conservative alternative to AARP. Alex, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
So, for those of our viewers that aren't familiar with AMAC, as I would refer to your organization, just take a moment and tell us what you're all about.
Yeah, so as you said, we are the conservative alternative to AARP, and in fact, we're the largest really alternative. We have about 2.1 million members nationwide, and so we're very similar in a lot of ways to how AARP works, where it's a member benefit organization. But really, a lot of what we do is focusing on how we can make not only the lives of seniors, but all Americans better. So focus on lots of different issues here in DC, but also providing those benefits that we know a lot of members are looking for.
So what are some of the major issues that you're focusing on today on behalf of your members, or maybe things that for which you're advocating?
Yeah, so being a seniors organization, there's the kind of the obvious, the Social Security, Medicare, and general health care. But then also on top of that, we do a lot of issues that are important to our members. Everything from healthcare costs to lowering taxes, even things like helping veterans with PTSD. So really, we are a member-driven organization in that way, finding the issues that our members do care about, and then trying to find the common sense solution on a lot of those issues to make sure that we're not trying to do anything that either drastically increases the size of government, but then still helps everyday Americans.
So for your members then who are trying to plan for retirement, let's say, and that are part of the income generation, they're over the age of 50, what types of educational resources does your company provide that can help them?
Yeah, so one of the great things that AMAC provides is actually called the AMAC Foundation. This is for anyone that is a senior looking at retirement or already retired. They don't even have to be an AMAC member, that they can use this as a resource to look at everything from Social Security, where we have national Social Security advisors on staff. But then we also put out promotional materials for trying to identify, things like identity theft, or making sure that your investment advisor isn't trying to steer you in the wrong direction.
So we're talking today, of course, in the show about the Secure Act. So as advocates, when the Secure Act was just that, an act, not before it became law, were you guys behind it? Were you opposed to it?
So the Secure Act is, one of many retirement savings bills that we were tracking because it is an important issue to our members. So as it made its way through Congress, we delved into the bill and found all the parts that we liked and some of the parts that we didn't like. It's pretty common when you have these very large pieces of legislation that there's a mixed bag. It's whether or not the good outweighs the bad, but overall we did support the bill.
So net, it was more positive than negative in your opinion?
Absolutely. There was a lot of good provisions in there. Things, say, for the retirees that are already retired, things like extending the cap for when you have to start taking required minimum distributions from 70.5 to 72. Also eliminating the cap on contributions to IRAs for folks over age 70.5. Things like that were really good. But then for the folks that aren't retired yet, especially on the small business side, there were some pretty good provisions. Things like auto enrollment incentives for folks to get into retirement plans, multi-employer plans, so that way many small businesses can band together to form a single retirement plan that has the lower overhead costs to help make sure more of that money is going into the retirement fund.
Mm-hmm. Sure. That's great for people who work for small companies, without question. So give me an example of something right now that is about to go through Congress at some point in 2020, or at least is suspected to, that you folks are proponents of.
So there's several good bills out there relating to healthcare and retirement. Senator Portman has a bill that actually takes a lot of the good things that were in the Secure Act and takes them even a step farther. But one of the big things is that we are in 2020 and it's election year. So what can get passed while, kind of the politics of DC ramp up is a really big question mark.
We have 1 minute left. Where do you think is the area that Congress needs to focus on the most in order to help our retirees or those that are about to retire in the next 5 or 10 years? What's the area that they should be focusing on right now, in your opinion?
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare costs. Unfortunately, over the next year, because like I said, it's an election year, we're going to see two very different ideas going forward. A lot of them putting out by the progressives that are running for president is a massive change from our current healthcare system. whereas the president is looking for more transparency, more free markets, things that really do and have been proven to bring down costs. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at those plans that are out there, not just read kind of the talking points by the candidates, but actually look at the plans to see what's going to be best for them in retirement.
So if I were to have my production crew just after, in post, take the AMAC from behind you and replace it with Sanders 2020, you would probably not approve of that. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, definitely not.
We need to leave it there for now. Thanks so much for being on the show. It's been excellent. And you stay with us too. We'll be right back here with more coming up in a moment on the Income Generation.